My name is Juan Olmos. I'm going to talk to you about insurance. I worked in the insurance industry for the past 12 years. Started off my career in insurance with Allstate Insurance, working in the claims department. I would hear a lot from different people that didn't understand what they had. They've had accidents, they didn't understand they didn't have coverage, or they didn't have enough coverage. And to me, it kind of, I felt bad for those people. I felt like somebody wasn't explaining to them the importance of having the right coverage, or why it's important to even have insurance in general. Everybody has car insurance, right?
Yeah.
You don't?
Yes.
What is your name?
My name is Marlene.
Why don't you have car insurance?
I don't have a car yet, so I'm still working on that process.
Are you planning on buying a car?
Yes, actually.
And will you have it insured?
Yes.
Okay. How about you? What is your name?
Ashley.
Ashley. Do you have car insurance?
Yes.
Who do you have your car insurance through?
State Farm.
State Farm? What type of policy do you have?
I do not know.
You do not know? You don't know your coverages?
Nope.
Why is it important to have insurance?
For car accidents.
Okay. And what's another good reason why to have insurance?
I don't know.
You don't know? How about you? Do you have insurance?
No,
Do you have a car?
not yet.
Are you going to buy a car?
Yes.
Okay. Why would you buy insurance if you have a car?
For any accidents and for just for purposes if you get pulled over, you have coverage over it and stuff like that.
Okay. So it's required by law.
Yes.
Okay. That's probably the first reason why people think I should have insurance. One of the reasons why I believe you should have insurance is to protect yourself from when you damage, protecting your assets in case you're in an accident. If you have an accident and if you don't have enough insurance, they can come after your assets. Which an asset is, say, your additional income. If you have another home, if you have a second car, anything that you have extra that typically you wouldn't have, they can come after that. Your savings, they can sue you. I've had an instance where I had a customer that pretty bad accident. Son was driving the wrong way, ended up hitting head on, and it killed somebody. That person was hurt. They went to the hospital. The person in the other car, our insured, actually passed away. Insured son passed away. The person that survived went to the hospital and had medical bills, a lot of medical expenses. Their car was damaged. They lost wages, and ultimately they had to sue the family that caused the accident to try and make up for what they lost. The policy that our insured had only had minimum coverage through the state of Texas, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. And when they sued, there wasn't much that they had. So what they did, the state went after their assets, any rent houses they had, like I said, any additional properties, boats, jet skis, motorcycles, anything that's in addition to your only transportation, they will go after. And that can put you in a very hard financial position. Another reason why to have insurance is, I mean, if you have kids, once you have kids and they're out driving, I mean, you can't control what they do. You have to have the right amount of insurance. What if they cause an accident and, like, that person actually kill somebody or hurt somebody pretty badly? We had a lot of instances where people didn't even know what they had. They thought they had full coverage, and they didn't. They thought they had rental car coverage, and they didn't, because they didn't know it was something that's in addition to what you usually buy with the auto policy. And I kind of put together a chart of how auto policies are designed. Every insurance company is regulated by the state of Texas, and their format is pretty much the same. You'll see coverage A, coverage B, coverage C, coverage D, the towing and the rental, and there's some other additional endorsements that you can add. But another reason why we have insurance is to make sure that, you know, we're put back into the state where we first started. It's not for us to gain from it. It's for us to keep our same ways of living, being able to replace that car with something like what you currently had. I'll go through some of the coverages. Here recently, within the past 2 years, the state actually increased the limits of liability to 30, 60, 25. They used to be 20, 40, 15. And this is coverage A, your liability. I don't know if you understand what this means or how that works for you or not, but I can explain it to you. The first two numbers are considered bodily injury. That's, for instance, if you hurt somebody in an accident. Say you rear end somebody and they're pretty badly hurt. The way this policy is going to work, or the way these limits are set to work, it pays $30,000 per person inside that car. The maximum is going to pay for everybody inside the car is $60,000. The amount of property damage it's going to pay is up to $25,000 of property damage. What kind of car do you drive?
A 4-door car.
A 4-door car. Do you know what year, make, and model it is? Do you drive a Maserati? Do you drive a Buick Century? What kind of car do you drive?
A Nissan Maxima.
A Nissan Maxima. How much would you say your Nissan Maxima is worth? An approximate. Let's just say it's worth $10,000.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, let's say it's worth $10,000. Or say, for instance, if you were to hit a Nissan Maxima like yours, this coverage would actually you would have enough coverage to cover if you were to total out the Nissan Maxima like yours. You have up to $25,000 of coverage. Say it was a brand new Nissan Maxima, top of the line with everything. All the bells and whistles. How much would you say a car like that costs?
Like 40.
$40,000? Yeah, you're probably about right. Say you happen to hit Marlene when she buys her brand new Nissan. You T-bone her, car's a total loss. This is what you have currently on your policy. Well, your company's only liable to pay $25,000. That's the contract you signed.
To the person that I hit?
Yes.
Okay.
Because this is the liability portion. This is third party, the person that you hit. So you would actually be in debt for the difference.
Oh,
so
wow.
we would cover up to $25,000. You would still owe $15,000 to Marlene for that new car that she just drove off the lot. So what I usually recommend is that to look at these coverages. If you hurt somebody, if you go to the hospital, how much is your hospital bill just to get an X-ray?
Not quite sure.
About $350. It can range up to $350, $65,
$1,000?
$100.
$100 just for an X-ray?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Say for instance you need a CAT scan. How much is a CAT scan?
Those are probably like
Probably 2,000, 1,500, around there.
Okay. Well, so you get a CAT scan, your ambulance ride. Say you stay in the hospital for a week. They can add up. So you got to make sure that you have enough coverage as far as the injury part to make sure that you cover all those medical expenses, or else they come back to you.
That's still for the person we hit, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's still based on the person that you hit. I still haven't gotten to you yet if you were to get hurt in an accident. So I would usually recommend to go maybe a step or two above this. The next level would be 50, 100, 50. Or maybe 100, 300, 100, up to $100,000 card. I would say depending on the area you live in, if you're in, say for instance, North Dallas where they drive Maseratis, Bentleys, $200,000 cars, and hey, you never know. Who's to say that you're not going to hit one of those cars? You want to make sure that you have enough coverage here. And usually in that area, I would sell a policy that was up to maybe $150,000, $200,000. But most of those people would have an umbrella, which is something totally different to this. There's the liability portion of your auto policy and why it's important. Now I'll get to you. What if you get hurt in an accident? How are you going to pay for your medical bills? Do you have health insurance?
No.
You don't have health insurance? Okay. Well, health insurance is important because it pays for your medical bills. But if you don't have anything, your last resort is either medical payments or it's MedPay or PIP. It all falls into the same category. Category B, medical payments and PIP. Medical payments pays for your medical only. It doesn't pay for any lost wages. It doesn't pay. It pays for death and health. Your medical only. PIP pays for your injuries. It also pays for your lost wages, up to 70% of them. It pays for if you were to pass away in an accident. It also pays. Dismemberment. PIP is important because it covers you wherever you go. So if you're riding the bus, if you're riding in your friend's car, your aunt's car.
Oh, so it's like just personal protection.
Yeah, it protects you personally anywhere you go. If you're riding your bicycle and you get hit by a car, it'll cover it. So that's why it's important to have PIP. An adjuster once told me, if you trip, you fall, and you hit your head on your car, if you have a headache, you can go to the doctor and your PIP will cover it because it was involved in a car. I don't recommend you doing it. Yes? You had a question?
Does PIP require deductible?
PIP does not have a deductible in the state of Texas. And there's actually 3 different limits. There's $2,500 is the minimum you can purchase. $5,000 is the second amount. The highest amount you can buy is $10,000. So you can buy up to $10,000 of coverage of PIP and medical payments in the state of Texas. Those are the 3 different limits. The next coverage is coverage C, which is your uninsured motorist and your underinsured motorist. What that stands for is, say for instance somebody hits your car, it's their fault, but they have no insurance. If they have no insurance, how are you going to take care of your injuries and your car? Uninsured motorist actually looks kind of like your liability. It has the same coverages. What I would do is you can either match them, or you can have something lower than your liability. You can have anything higher. Uninsured motorist does have a $250 deductible in the state of Texas, and I recommend you have it even if you have just want liability for the car. If you have an uninsured motorist, it'll cover your car in case somebody hits it and they run. Since you don't know who did it, as long as you have a police report, we're able to cover it because it's somebody that wasn't insured typically, and hit and runs are covered by an uninsured motorist. So it's a lifesaver if you don't want to have collision coverage on your car, which I'll get to here in a second. Uninsured motorist will cover your medical bills. It'll cover part of your lost wages. It'll also cover if the other person doesn't have insurance. What if the other person only has the state minimum? What are you going to do? Well, you can come back and claim it under your uninsured motorist because they had the minimum. Your car was worth $40,000, and that other person only had $25,000. Yes, ma'am?
If you have uninsured motorists, do you still need PIP?
Actually, it's an option. You could have both. You could have both. Your PIP would pay first, and if once it's exhausted, you claim on your uninsured motorist. But actually, your PIP pays when it's not at fault accident as well. So yeah, I mean, you could use both. Well, going back to this, the property damage part of the uninsured motorist. Say you only have $25,000 of coverage. Your car's worth $40,000. Well, with your uninsured motorist, you can get that extra $15,000 that she didn't have covered to cover your car. All you have is a $250 deductible, and you're not left with a bank note saying, "Hey, there's no coverage, or there wasn't enough coverage." And that's very important to have. I always recommend this for people to have this. And even if they have just liability, they can have liability and uninsured motorist only. They don't have to have everything else. It really saves you. The next coverage, I would say, is the comprehensive and collision coverage, coverage D, which comprehensive covers your vandalism, your theft, your hail damage, anything other than an accident or a collision. If you hit something, acts of nature, a tree falls on your car, something flies out of a car and hits your car directly, doesn't touch the ground, is considered comprehensive coverage. And these are not at fault claims because you had no control over them. I followed a lot of, now that I'm an adjuster, I've taken a lot of claims that are comprehensive claims, a lot of deer. People will be driving out in the country, and deer will cross in front of them and hit their car. We've totaled out cars because of deer. And you could choose whichever deductible you want. It could range from, in the state of Texas, $0, $50, $100, $200, $250, $500, up to $1,000 deductible. Comprehensive coverage, if it is a total loss, it'll always pay actual cash value, which means the cost to replace with a like part. So what the car is actually worth at the time of, say, the theft or the vandalism, if it's considered a total loss, if it's burnt, we'll go through